Hey there! Welcome to The Secret Cocktail. It's Victoria Randall, and I am the owner and founder, nurse practitioner, and healthcare school consultant. Today is day 4 of our business planning series. And so today we're going to be talking about how to determine how much it costs to start your business. You do not have to be starting a healthcare training school to be a part of this series. This is definitely just for anyone opening a business, whether it is a business that is I meant to say brick and mortar. Brick and mortar versus online. If you're doing a product-based service, it doesn't matter. This is for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started. And so all of you who are here, I just want you to take a moment and type in the chat what kind of business you have, because as I go through the operation plan, like the budgeting plan that is, to determine how much it's going to cost to start your business, as well as the monthly reoccurring cost to maintain the business, I want to kind of keep you in mind. Okay? So let's go ahead and share the screen and get started. And thank you guys so much for joining me in this series this week. This has been really fun connecting. Okay, so what I have right in front of you right now is a plain old simple Excel spreadsheet. And the reason why I'm showing you this Excel spreadsheet is because I want you do not have to be proficient at Excel, by the way, okay? This Excel spreadsheet I'm showing you is a little jazzed up, but you personally do not have to be perfect at it, okay? But what you can do is take some of the things I'm getting ready to teach you and literally just type it. If you can type in the word, you can type into Excel. And you're going to type these things into Excel to kind of help you brainstorm. Now, there's going to be different parts of your Excel spreadsheet, okay? So at the top here, it just says account name. Don't worry about that. Honestly, right here, I would put, if I were you, whatever the name of your service or product is, okay? So you could put service lines or product line or whatever right here where it says account name. And then you're going to name all of your services or all of your products. So if you have jewelry, maybe you'll name bracelets, earrings, whatever, right? And then maybe they're even more specific than that. Maybe you have jade jewelry versus plastic jewelry, things like that. Sorry about that. So you will want to make sure that you identify all of your services or items that you sell. Now, after we line those up and we name all of them, right here where it says month 1, I want you to determine how many you're going to have. Like what is your goal? Remember I told you in order for us to be successful in business, we have to have goals. So this would be, what is your goal? How many are you going to sell that month of that particular item? Now, you can't promise it's going to happen, but we're going to try our best to make it happen. So on this example, for those of you who are opening CNA programs or phlebotomy programs or whatever, this is kind of lined up for you. But again, I need you to visually see, no matter what business or service you're selling, how to use this Excel spreadsheet. So right here, I have CNA expected body course 1. This is like a day class. CNA course 2, an evening class. CNA course 3 would be your... it would be like a weekend class, right? Okay, great. Next we have next we have how many of this we're going to plan on selling. So right here I said, well, on my day class, I'm only going to run a day class. So it'll be 2 people and 0 for evening and weekend. Now you may ask yourself, why in the world is Victoria only saying she's going to sell 2 courses in month 1? Well, I don't care, again, if you're selling courses, consulting services, a product like hair care products or candles or hats, whatever you're selling. If your ultimate goal is to sell 100 a month, you're not going to sell 100 the first month, okay? So this is thinking like, oh, okay, this is my first month in business, or maybe you have been in business for a while, but you've never created goals for yourself. You want to set those goals where they are actually attainable, right? So if any of you have ever heard of SMART goals, and if you have not heard of SMART goals, please look up SMART goals and go ahead and learn a little bit about SMART goals. Okay, it means that they are specific, measurable, actionable. I can't remember what the R is for some reason, but and then T for the time, how long will it take you to acquire that? So look up SMART goals, and anytime you create a goal for in your life, it needs to be SMART. You can't just say, I want $1 million, right? Well, what are we going to do to get $1 million? How much do you need to get every month to get to that million, and so on? So it's breaking it down into bite-sized pieces. So again, for those of you who are just joining me, we're looking at a budget sheet. And this is an actual budget sheet to help you determine how much money you want to make per month and how much you're going to spend per month. And so it kind of balances out at the end. So again, we're going to name all of our products or services that we sell along the first line. This happens to be column A. And then column B, we're going to say how many we want to sell. Okay? Any questions about that before I move on? Below it, it talks about how much each one of these items are. So if you want, the way mine is set up is because I have one price for everything. But if your item is going to be more than that, you could have a second row that maybe says the cost for the item, or you can have it next to the item, what the cost is actually. You could put it over here. So I could have said expected CNA course for day class, $2,100. I'm planning on getting 2. And then I could say expected, maybe the CNA course in the evening is less. Okay, maybe it's only $2,000 because I don't know why it would be less, but I'm just saying that for people who have multiple course options. Oh, maybe it's less because it's online and I'm charging less for an online class, right? And so I'd put $2,000 next to there as opposed to the $2,100. All right, so now we've looked at the name of our products, the price of it, and how many we want to sell. That will come equal our total revenue. Please notice that total revenue is gray because this is letting me know how much money I plan on making that month. That's what this one is. How much money do I plan on making for the month? So whatever all these products and services are, you will add them up and put that number here. Are you guys with me? And this is just for this particular month, month 1. Notice it says month 1 because everyone doesn't start their business in January. Okay, this may be March and I'm just now starting, and March is my month 1. And then next March is my 12 month or my 1 year mark. So that's why I left it month 1 to be generic. Now, we talked about what I'm selling, how many of it I want to sell, and how much it costs to help me determine how much I'm going to make, my total revenue. Now that I know this, the question now is, well, what all do I have to spend in order to sell this product or this service? Okay. And so if I'm going to sell, and yes, and I see Yosha saying I'm going to offer multiple courses if I'm having my school. That's great because the more courses you have, the more money you make. It's different streams, quote unquote, of revenue. So I have a phlebotomy program, a CNA program, a medical assistant program, whatever. Those are multiple courses and they're all bringing in different streams of revenue. Okay, next is my less variable cost. Less means I am subtracting it from this number here because this is how much money I plan on making this month. But now these are less variable. So number 1, they're variable because it just really depends on how many people actually buy from me. If only one person buys, and this was, I don't know, $70, but now 2 people buy, and now it's $140, right? So that's why it's variable. It depends on how many people actually buy that I have to spend more money on that item. This particular item is textbooks, workbooks, uniforms, badges, blood pressure cuffs, insurance, all these things. I had to think about what all am I including in my tuition. For those of you who do not have this kind of business, maybe you have a tangible kinesthetic item that you're creating with your hands. Again, name all the things that you need to put that item together. Someone was here with jewelry, right? So if you have some type of Swartz, what is it called? Swartz quartz jewels, how much are those versus your jade looking jewels and so on? Each one has a different cost to it. And so you want to line up all these costs. And then we're going to actually go to a website and find out the cost or the cheapest provider for that particular item. So for me, I like a particular book and it happens to not be the cheapest, but that's okay because that's the book I like. And so my book is going to be different than the cost of your book because maybe you have a different book that you're going to use. Same thing with people who make jewelry. items for me may cost one thing, but for you, they may cost another because we have different tastes and we have different suppliers. So you're going to find a supplier that you like and you're going to price it and then you're going to label it here. Now, I do want to tell you this. A lot of people, when they're business planning, they just like go look up 5 different items or 3 different items and then say, oh, okay, out of all these, this one's the cheapest, I'm gonna go with it. And then they click out and they keep pushing. The internet is endless. So if you don't mark down that website, like copy and paste, and this right here is serious. You would need to like go and copy and paste that website's URL, write down the name of the company, write down the item you're buying from that company, like plan it all out, because after you do this, you're gonna have a list of 1,000 items. Like I just mentioned, insurance companies, you're gonna have different types of vendors for multiple items. You're not gonna remember all those. So you definitely want to write down the URL, the name of the company, and what item you're buying from that company. That way, when you come back to actually start buying this stuff, you're not like, oh yeah, who was I buying that from again for $30? And now you're looking everywhere trying to find out who that was. It's a waste of time and energy. So if you're smart, you're going to get another Word document up and you're going to be copying, pasting those things as you go through this. Okay. All right. So now that I have identified all the things I want to include, and by the way, for those of you who are starting CNA schools or phlebotomy schools or whatever, all these things I have here, you do not have to include in your tuition. These were just things that I thought were important for you to consider, but it doesn't mean that you have to actually use them. And that's the same thing for other people in different type of businesses. You may write down a whole bunch of things to consider, but after you start looking into the costs, you might be like, you know what, I can actually do without that. I don't even need that item. And that's okay. So now we have all of our variable costs, and for 2 students, because remember, I'm only getting all this for the 2 people I plan on having. I total this up, and this is my total variable cost. So if I were to make $4,200 this month, I know for a fact $630 of it is going to all these items to be able to deliver this service. But guess what? The costs don't end there. We also have what's called less fixed costs, meaning they do not vary. This cost is going to be the same cost no matter what, every day of my life while I'm selling this service. And some things that are the same that are never going to change are things like your rent. If you have a space, a brick and mortar, let's say maybe you pay $1,500 for that brick and mortar. If you have utilities there, maybe you're spending $70 on utilities. Maybe you're spending $200. I don't know, right? But whatever it is, for me in my business, I have to have professional liability insurance in case we accidentally hurt somebody. If you have a space, you need general liability insurance, because if someone walks into your place, remember Friday, they fall, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Well, yeah, they could try to sue you. So we don't want that, right? So my suggestion would be to make sure you put some type of general liability insurance down that you're going to be calculating into your costs. I want you guys to think about everything possible that would be a monthly reoccurring cost for your business, and then label that price. As I'm saying this, is there any type of item that someone wants to share with their business that they're thinking about that is a monthly reoccurring cost? It's the same cost, same price, no matter what, every month they have to pay this thing out. And it's not always just your, like a tangible item that you're making. It could be like marketing, right? So every month I need to be spending, and by the way, if you are not spending any monies every month for marketing, what are you doing? Remember we talked yesterday about awareness. Some amount of money needs to be going to marketing. Whether you're buying a table that you're setting up somewhere, maybe you should have brochures, your business cards, all of that is marketing. Your website, that's marketing. And then ads. Maybe you're buying ads. Maybe you're purchasing ad space somewhere locally. Okay, so that every time people drive by, they see your name, whatever kind of ad space that is. You have to have money for marketing. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that have no money on their marketing budget, but yet they wonder why they're not making money. It's because nobody knows you exist. You have to have it. And again, I do want to say this, make sure that you have more than one marketing cost. One is not enough. So if you're just spending money on this one marketing avenue, what if that marketing avenue disappears tomorrow? What if the place where you go set up a booth at every month is gone? Now what? So many people depend on one stream of marketing or one stream of revenue in business, forgetting that this is a volatile market. Anything can happen at any time. And what you think has been working for you every day and you get comfortable with it can be gone just like that tomorrow. I had a few people call me because they were depending on WIOA to pay for their students, and that was the only way they were making money. And then WIOA stopped paying for CNAs in their state. And they were looking crazy. Well, you shouldn't have had one stream of income. Okay, you should have had multiple. It's the same with marketing. If Facebook goes down tomorrow and you've only been marketing it on Facebook, now what? Just like the TikTok people. They were making money off TikTok. TikTok was almost gone this quick. Then what would have happened to them? So you have to have multiple streams of marketing. Do not only invest in one. Okay? All right. And if you, someone said that they do have business cards, but they don't pay for ads, maybe you should start. Play with them. Play with ads and see what does it look like, especially with the people who are already buying your stuff. Think about that. All right, so let's go down. So that was our total fixed cost. So now after I spent money on all these things, maybe I have a secretary because I work during the day and I'm not able to answer my phone. So I have someone who's answering the phone for me, right? I'm using that example because I know a lot of nurses who start these schools, they work full time. So who's answering the phone? Because people are going to be calling, inquiring about your service because you marketed it. So who's going to be answering that phone? So whether it's an actual secretary or if you've hired a company that can capture information and then email it to you and you call them back later, whatever it is, you need to have some type of person who's available if you cannot be yourself to take calls of interest. Because when you're putting yourself out there and you're marketing yourself, people are going to contact you, call you, email you, and you want to be able to answer all of those. I'll never forget when I started doing these lives like this, and I would get like 100, 200 people on my lives. As soon as I'd get off a live, my email would be inundated with questions and requests and how can they work with me? How does my services work? I mean, I would spend 4 to 5 hours a day just answering emails. And I realized very quickly that I can't do that. It's not sustainable. Now, it worked in the beginning when I first owned the company, when I first started the company, right? Because it was just me and I probably have 5 inquiries a day. But when you have like over 100 inquiries a day, you are not able to sustain that. So you have to think about who can I bring on to help me through this process. If anything I'm saying to you right now is very helpful or something you didn't think about, please hit like and subscribe. Please hit like and subscribe to this channel, okay? It really helps my channel. It really helps me to be able to make money because my YouTube will show my videos to other people if it looks like other people like them. And that's how I make money as opposed to trying to make it off of you. So please, the more my video is shared or liked, the more money YouTube will pay me for doing this. So I appreciate that. Please like and subscribe. Okay, now we're going to go to after our total fixed cost, now we look at our total expenses. And so the total fixed cost, which was the $7,000 for all these items, plus the $630 for the variable items, that came to $8,363. Now, guess what? How much money did I say I made? I only made $4,200. And this is just an example, by the way. This is not a real life example. This is just a false example. Well, that means that if all of my total expenses are going to be $8,000, then that right there is my goal of what I need to make or more. So when those of you say, well, I really don't know what my goal is, I don't know what my goal of income is. Well, number one, we got to pay all of our expenses. So your goal has to be at minimum whatever your monthly expenses are just to be in existence. Then any money on top of that is yours. Now you'll notice here for our fixed expenses, I actually did put in salary for the instructor. So this particular instructor would be making $3,000 plus they're making this program coordinator salary. So they're making $4,033 every month. So they're already included in this cost. So it's kind of like I can't count myself out because I am a part of the monthly operation. I'm not just making money and then having enough to pay for everything and hoping I make money on the end. I am a part of the fixed costs. And that's how I suggest all of my clients do. Do not just pay yourself because you happen to have a little left over. No, you need to be on salary of some sort or an hourly payment or whatever you want to do, but you need to be getting paid and you need to be a part of your fixed costs. If you're not, then you're never going to grow. You're never going to force yourself, and you're going to be constantly working for free or volunteer. Because what I say is, if you are only bringing in $4,000, but you're spending $8,000, you are a volunteer for the community, period. And it's okay to volunteer, but sooner or later, you need to be able to make money. So, all right, now I'm going to take it down to a month where the person, this particular fall school did better. And so when we see right here on month 5, because again, I'm growing my student body or I'm growing my customers every so often. So now by month 5, people are starting to know me. People are starting to understand that they're aware of me. They're engaging with me, and now they're buying from me because for 5 months, I've talked with them. I educated them. I send them emails telling them how great I am. I sent them emails educating them on how they can be better, right? So now by month 5, they're like, you know what? I'm ready to buy from you. And so now I have 5 people who decided to utilize my service, which now brought me to $10,000 that I made that month. But remember, my monthly expenses were about $8,000, right? So now, even though I got paid and even though I paid all my bills, my company itself now has an additional $2,800 just sitting in the bank. That's good. It's good because I might have a bad month, which see the next month, this person's going to have a bad month and they're only going to make, they're going to be in the negative. Oh, sorry, I didn't have it high enough for you guys. I'm sorry. Right here was the number I was showing you that they made. This is the extra money they made. But now next month, they're going to be in the negative, okay? And so that's a problem. But then the month after, they're not. So they're anticipating the possibility of being in the negative. They're anticipating the possibility of making good money and back and forth and back and forth. So with this document, I saw some of you said that you kind of have a very similar document. That is good. You have to have this, and you should be doing this this I plan out for a year personally. I plan out an Excel spreadsheet for a full year. And then after I plan it out, I go back and at the very end of every month, I look to see, did I make my goal? So if I said I wanted 2 students in month 1, did I get 2 students? If I did, we're celebrating. If we didn't, we're looking at why didn't we? And then we try to make it better. Did we implement all the things we said we were going to implement, or did we, let's be honest with ourselves, we only half-assed? So you have to really be honest and hold yourself accountable and then push yourself harder for the next time so that you can meet that goal. And if it's not just you and it's a team of people, they should be a part of this process so that they can see that their work is truly making a difference. And it's not just about the quote unquote money, but it's also about the lives you're touching. Whatever your goal is, whatever your story is, whatever your mission is, it really needs to be tied to that. We were able to educate 2 people just as we wanted to. So now 2 people have more jobs. 2 people are able to provide for their families. 2 people in our community are now better, more productive citizens. Those are the things that we are celebrating. Okay. Now, of course, we have money that we've made, and we have to have money that we made in order to even make this operation work. And that's okay. Never feel bad about that. But we have to remember that as owners, we have to focus in on the impact that we're making through our work and not just the dollar. How many of you have worked for a company that was just worried about the dollar? Nobody wants to work for that company. It's going to get old really quick. And so that's why having a mission, values, and a story are important, not just to you as a company and to the people that you touch in the community, but to your actual staff and employees as you grow. All right, so that was your monthly expenses. And so that's how we keep to make sure that we're bringing in enough money. That's how we're balancing to make sure we bring in enough money, okay? Next, I want us to look at how much it costs to even start this company, okay? Because it's good to say, hey, I need to have 10 students every month in order for me to make money. in order for this ship to stay afloat. Cool. But now I need to look at how much is it even going to cost me to start this thing up. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people think they want to start this school. They go get a whole lease. People want to start a business. They go get a whole lease, sign it, do all this, and they've never done any of this part right here. So now you've already spent money on a lease for a brick and mortar, or you've already invested the money in a Secretary of State filing, and you purchased all this, what do you call it? Like all of this product to make your thing. Maybe you make hats. So you bought all this yarn, did all of this, right? But you didn't even sit back to figure out like, oh, I really need more things than what I bought. And it's going to cost me more than what I thought. And because I didn't look to see how much I really should be selling this item for, I'm not even going to make the money that I thought. I sit down with people all the time and we look at their budget and they find out that they are, as I mentioned before, a volunteer service. They're actually making $0 and they didn't even realize it because they're so busy working for somebody else, taking the money they made to work for somebody else, put it into this quote unquote business, which is really a hobby, and then not getting any return from it, but not realizing they're not getting return because they're not doing any of the things I'm showing you right now. If you're not paying attention to this stuff, then what are we doing? Busy work is what you're doing. So anyway, so what I have here is my startup costs. And so for me, when I work with my clients, I help them identify all of the startup costs that they're going to need for their company. And they label it out not only by the supply name, but by how many units they're going to need of that particular supply to at least start, right? And how much each one of those costs. And then over here is the total value. So again, if I have 10 deodorants that cost me $3.48 each, then that is a total cost of $34.80. So we're looking at every single item that you need, how many items you need of that to at least just start. And not just start, but to serve however many people you plan on serving. So in this example, we only plan on serving 10 students. So you have to ask yourself, how many customers do you plan on serving at your first, whatever you're doing, right? Your first launch, how many do you want to serve? And that's how much stuff you need to buy. The way businesses work is the more you buy, the cheaper the price is. But you don't want to buy too much, because then, the business might not do well and you've invested all this money in the product and now you have no money to market it. So there is a fine balance. Okay, let's be very clear. There's a fine balance on buying product and having money to market that product. Let's see. Someone says, my goal is to get grant money to help me get started. Someone else said this was my first year. Sometimes we just don't know until it hits us. Yeah, I know, right? Sometimes we're just moving in business and don't even realize how long we've been in it. As of August of this year, I will have been in business for 7 years, which means I have not had to work for anybody else for 7 years. That is huge. Like, I can't even believe it. Most businesses don't make it past year 1. The ones who do make it past year 1 do not make it past year 5. And so for a person to make it past year 5, they're doing something right. So I'm happy to know that I'm doing something right. Now, I do want to address the grant money discussion. And this is going to hurt when I say it. And I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Grant money is very hard to get because no one wants to give you money until you can show and prove you know what to do with it. Okay, I'm going to say that again. No one wants to give you money until you can show and prove that you know what to do with it. So if you are not willing to invest $50,000 into your business and show and prove that you can multiply it and turn it to $100,000, why am I giving you money to do that? You're not willing to use your own money. You couldn't show and prove that you know to do that with anybody's money because you haven't gotten any to prove that. Therefore, almost nobody wants to give you grant money when you are first starting in a business. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying in my going on 7 years of business, I've only had one client get a grant to help her open her school. And you want to know why that one client got a grant to help her open her school? Because she already had another business that she could show and prove that she knows what to do with the money and how to multiply it. That's the only reason why she got it. So she was able to use a separate business model that she was using to prove that she's at least knows how to successfully run a business and can take money and multiply it. So there are small grants out there though that they usually give to people without having to prove that. They call them micro grants. They're usually anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. And so you can definitely apply for micro grants and apply for multiple micro grants to get up a good 10 or 20,000 to help you start your business. That's definitely a thing. But I'm telling you now, those micro grants, that you don't just fill out an application and submit it. It is some work. So for those of you who are out there, you Google micro grants, Google entrepreneur incubator programs in your area. I was involved with an incubator program in Atlanta, sponsored by the mayor's office of Atlanta. Mayor Kashim Reed started the initiative, and then Keisha Lance Bottoms took it over. But the moral of the story is they invested in us heavily and taught me like everything I'm showing you right now and more. Okay. And that program helped me grow my business. Before I was in that program, the year before, my business made, I think, right at 75,000. The second year after being in that business, I made 375,000. And the year after that, I doubled and doubled. So like I learned so much from that program. So I tell people all the time, please, please, please find incubator programs, entrepreneur incubator programs in your city. They're there. They don't have a marketing budget, so they can't help raise awareness. So you won't know that they're there. But if you actively look and you use the right keywords to look, you will find them. Also, as I mentioned to you, micro grants are out there. So Google micro grants and apply for all of them that you can to help get your money up for your business. Has anyone ever heard of micro grants or entrepreneurship incubator programs before I just mentioned them today? I'd like to know that. Have you heard of that before? Okay. So this again is just an example budget, but here at the very end of this particular budget, we found that it was going to cost this particular person about $10,000 to start this business. Again, this is different for everybody. Some people are allowed to have 20 students. Some people can only have 10, right? Some people's space is only big enough for 6. And so everyone's startup plan is completely different from the next person's. Very different from the next person's. So please keep that in mind. Like when people come to me and ask me, can you help me? No, they don't even say, can you help me? They say, can you tell me how much it costs to start a CNA school? I'm sorry, I cannot. Because everybody has a different scenario. And some people can find rent for $1,000. In New York, you will never find rent for $1,000. Okay. You're lucky if you find it for $3,000. So I cannot give you a specific price. So please don't ask me. However, we can sit down together and do what I just did right here in this short session with you all and help you strategize. I can do that. And then by the end, we can come up with a number that works for you. And again, if you don't like these numbers, you can change them. Like maybe you don't have to service 10 students in the beginning. Maybe you can only service 5, right? Or if you have a product, maybe you can't create 100 of that product before you get started. Maybe you can only afford to create 50. That's okay. That is okay. Sometimes whenever we create business plans, they oftentimes have to be altered. And oftentimes they have to be altered midway through the year. So I've definitely created a business budget, and halfway through I had to alter it because something came up. Like maybe an expense, maybe one of the people who I buy one of my products from, they changed their price. So now I have to pay more. Very seldomly does my budget change because I had to pay less. It's usually because I had to pay more. So as soon as that happens, you need to go back to the drawing board. And you'll notice when you go back to the drawing board of your document, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Not only did my book price go up, but I forgot the deodorant went up, and I forgot this went up, and I forgot the beads went up. And then, so now you're having to reprice that, and that's okay. Your business plan is a living, breathing document. That means that it will change day to day, and that's okay. That is extremely okay. Okay, any questions? Please like and subscribe, guys. I appreciate it. It looks like I got some new subscribers. Who is this? Oh, I have to wait for it to come back up. Vamari. Okay, thank you, Vamari. Welcome. LaDeja, welcome. Thank you for joining. Any questions for me? Now's the time. And this is a little shorter than our other sessions, but I do hope that it was helpful for you. If you want, like for those of you who are starting CNA programs, we do have a whole course that walks you through how to do this. What I just showed you all is $350. It shows you everything on how to do this. If you are a person who's in a different field and you still want some type of help or consulting to help you brainstorm this, I by no means claim to be a jack of all trades, but I can help you brainstorm some things. So there will be a link down below where you can book an hour-long virtual session with me, and I can help you brainstorm some things. I'm happy to do that. But let me see if there's any questions so far. Oh, thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate that. Yeah, please like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. It helps me tremendously. While I'm waiting for people to ask their questions, I do want to let everyone know that tomorrow is the last day of this series. And tomorrow's topic which actually, by the way, tomorrow is actually my school's graduation day. So my school is graduating our third class at our new location. And I'm really excited about it. So we've got our phlebotomy students coming through, and then we're starting a medical assistant program the March 3rd. Yeah, March 3rd. But anyway, tomorrow's session will be, what do I need to launch my business? Okay, so what do I really need? Like, what are the bare bone basics to get this thing up and going? So that'll be the last part of the series. If there's any other topics that you would like me to discuss, though, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to write them down, look into it, brainstorm, put together a presentation like I've done all week, and share what I've learned in this brain throughout these years. Sometimes there's just so much knowledge in there, like I take it for granted until a person asks me a question, and then it makes me realize, like, oh yeah, everyone doesn't know that thing that you know. Share it. It's not that I'm trying to withhold knowledge. Trust me, I'm not. It's just sometimes I forget what's not common knowledge because I've had that knowledge for so long. Okay. Someone said, Yosha, I am almost done with my business plan. I do want to have a simulation lab in my school. Any info I need to know if any rules apply for that? There are none. If you're talking about a simulation lab, which is just like, hey, nursing students can come and sim how to pop up a fluid bag, you're good. CNA from another program who failed their test wants to come and learn one more time how to make a bed, no regulation for that. So you can do a simulation lab for healthcare professionals to help them just kind of, especially, but let me say this, they have to either A, already have that cert, or B, like be in school for that. I would make them prove that to me. Because, you know, sometimes people will come to you and say that they did these things just so you can teach them how to do something that they're going to use for a sinister reason later. And then when you investigate and you realize, like, oh, you never have been taught how to do an injection and you just want me to teach you so you can go inject someone with something bad. I don't want to be a part of that. So I do make people prove to me and show to me that they are either A, certified, or B, in school to be certified for this particular thing. So, but yeah. We get a lot of people calling from our competitor CNA school, calling us, asking us to help them because they failed the exam. And I'm like, no, you need to go back to the person who taught you. You paid them their money. You need to go make them, hold them accountable. If you failed, go back there and tell them you failed and why you failed and have them help you. And they're scared to. I never understand why. And I mean, I get it. Maybe you just don't want to go back there because they did you wrong. You feel like they did you wrong. I don't know. But any other questions? Okay. That's okay. I saw someone say they joined late. That's okay. As you know, this will be available for replay, so you can go back and watch the replay. And in the meantime, I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Bye.